Do you start learning how to deal with that better? Because clearly you don't want to react like that, right?
We got a few lippy lads down there. But
Did he instigate the speed dealers at the Brownlow?
yeah, I guess that's the motivation to sort of not let it happen again if you do get the chance.
Seems like a bit of an enigma as well.
Hitting packs and backing yourself. Have you always had that?
It's just something that I love doing, and yeah, it's a strength of mine, so I want to bring in every game.
Righto, we are here deep inside the kennel, I believe. BackChat, powered by Paywise, and with our good friend playing forward right now, but he was a backman, Aaron Naughton. Hello, mate. How are you?
Good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Mate, thanks for being here. Well, you're already here. We came to you, actually.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. I want to ask you the same question we ask every guest on the podcast to start with. We know you're a great footballer, doing great things as a forward, although, like I said, I'd like to talk about you coming maybe back to the back line, but we can discuss that a little later on. We know what you do up there. You run around golden locks, you got your headband on, flying around, crashing packs. Great footballer. We understand that. But we want to know what you can do off the football field. Your greatest sporting achievement, not on the football field, Nort. So Dan Const, great cricketer.
Yeah, under 12s, 5 for 16 in the grand final. Lost it, but still.
Represented Australia in fistball.
Australia.
It's pretty impressive.
No big deal.
I was actually under 10s flags champion in Nippers, state champion, Jan Jut, bit of a beach sprinter as well. I was under 9 state hurdling champion at 80 metres. You got something for us?
Probably got 2.
Great.
I'm thinking of. Under 9 shot put champion, state champion.
Shot put.
Yeah. And then
That is brilliant.
probably claim the fame under 16s domestic basketball grand final against Luke Travis.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Tie him up.
No, he was good, but we won, but he was still the best player.
I'm going to be honest, the shot put
Yeah.
for mine.
Yeah. How heavy are we talking?
Yeah, you're big. Like,
No, I was like skinny, lanky and skinny person. Yeah, a couple of big boys that were 9 years old, and I think it was about 2 kilos the shot put back then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great. So coming into this chat, I thought you were a West Aussie.
No.
Rocco boy, Pure Thunder connotations, played to state footy for WA, but you're a Victorian.
Yeah, born and
here in
bred.
Victoria.
Yeah, down in Frankston, Langwarren.
Is that right?
Lucky enough to move to the Great West when I was 9 years old.
Yeah, right.
I do consider myself a West Australian though.
Is that right?
We're claiming you as well. So.
Of course you are. I'm a Victorian, so I'm going to claim you as Victorian. So what was life like growing up there, mate? So you spent your first part here, Victoria, and then moved to Rockingham in Western Australia. So talk to us about growing up and sport and all of that.
Yeah, I think in Victoria we had 2.5 acres, rolling around on like the Pee-wee 50 and creating goals out of, the trees in the backyard and whatever else, and doing BMX jumps and everything sort of outside. And then, packed up and moved because of Mum's work. She was in the Navy.
Yeah.
Hence why we moved to Rockingham with the Navy base out there. And same thing. Just sort of went residential house. We had no land, so I missed the motorbikes. But everything outdoors. All my mates families had 4-wheel drives and boats and jet skis and those things. So spent a lot of the time out in the water.
Siblings, your brothers and sisters?
Older brothers, about 2.5 years older.
Right, so you're the younger sibling.
Yeah.
So a lot of younger siblings are always the competitive ones. They're the ones that want to beat the elder siblings. Is that you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And do they have any things they like to hold over you, given you're now playing AFL, superstar of the competition? Do they still like to remind you back in the day, kicking goals between the, trees, that you weren't the best goal kicker or stronger than your shot put champions?
My brother Travis, he's not too bad. He's doesn't hold any grudges. I think I still remember the last time we probably had a fight was I was 14, he was 16, and we ended out through the bedroom window, and that was the last time. And since then we've become really good mates. But
so you shook hands and said,
we're like, oh, that's a bit dangerous now. So he's good. Super supportive. He doesn't hold anything against me.
So your junior footy, you're a backman, right?
Yeah, all the way through. Yep.
Right. Okay.
Gee.
I mean, what happened to you?
Lost
mate?
cause.
Bloody,
Yeah.
It's a bloody sad day when we see a backman lost the forward line. You're too good. That's why, isn't it?
Yeah, changed. I used to be humble. Now just arrogant forward.
So you played
Giving winks to players
yeah,
and
exactly
stuff.
right.
Giving winks to your teammates after you're marking the goal square.
Yeah.
I've always loved watching you play because you're a Peel Thunder man, which I was effectively second drafted to when I came over to WA. So Rockingham, south of Perth, if you're not from Perth and listening along. What's your footy like there? And then Peel Thunder as well. Yep, you had a good opportunity there, a good club there.
Yeah, definitely. My juniors was Rockingham Rams.
Shout out the Rams.
Yeah, played all the way through, which was really good. And then obviously transition, standard through under 16s and the Colts program there. And, some of the funnest times probably looking back were the half an hour car drives with your mates 3 times a week to Manja and back home and stopping off at the Subway or the Macca's, depending on how we were feeling on the way home for dinner and carrying on. And, they were probably the funnest times in the car.
What was that like being Peel, being so linked to Freo? Because you would have seen a lot of the Freo guys down there as well.
Yeah, I think game day was always, especially when you were really young, you'd finish your Colts game and then those boys would start rolling in, which was, pretty cool to sort of rub shoulders a little bit. And then as got older in my draft year, lucky enough to play alongside a lot of them. Funny enough, Sam Collins is now, a star at Gold Coast Suns. He helped me so much in my draft year when I was lucky enough to play my league games. He was like super. Just basically, I credit a lot of my good games there to him. He set me up. Very vocal and set me and directed me, but helped me so much in that draft year.
Sammy Collins, big friend of BackChat. He was leading the BackChat back.
Stayed true to his roots, stay in the back line.
Yeah, correct. He's not going for it. He's not Sammy. So that year you played 7 games in a row, senior side, as a underager, as a junior. You don't play in the flag. They won a flag that year. Was that? How was that? Was that something you would have liked to play in a premiership, but difficult?
Not really difficult. It was like, I was pretty thankful to get the opportunity to play. I thought I'd played good enough, so I was like a little bit obviously disappointed if you're playing the back end of the year and don't get to play. But to be amongst it that whole week, it was obviously emergency as well. So warm up and do all those things, and the sort of celebrations after was it's good for Peel Thunder and the Mandurah Rockingham area, and a lot of those guys now transitioning and being stars of Freo. So it's a good opportunity. Don't change it.
Subi Oval, wasn't it? Again, was that?
Yeah, that was
Subi
the last one at.
That was the last game at
Subi Domain or whatever it was called back then. Yeah,
I saw a bit of stuff prepping for this. Played state footy with Oscar Allen.
Yeah.
And the quote was something like, "We're just a couple of nobodies that everyone seems to be having a chat about coming into the draft." There was an interview he did and talking you up, and you two end up getting drafted as key position players of that year. You played state footy with him. Recollection of Oscar. He was a forward and a backman. Was he? No, he played some back, didn't he?
No, he mainly forward.
Yes.
So it was quite funny. We obviously had a fair few matchups. He was at West Perth, I was at Peel Thunder, playing on each other. I like to think I got the better of him back in the day. But obviously co-captain the Stay 18s together. We still try to catch up whenever the Eagles are over and go out for breakfast these days. But he's obviously an ultimate competitor as well, and he loves talking a bit as well. So I let him do all the pre-game speeches, and I just sort of chilled back. But it shows now he's co-captain of the Eagles, so his leadership is awesome.
You got leadership aspirations here at the Dogs. You're co-captain at state footy, and alongside Oscar, like you said, he's now captain of West Coast. See Aaron Naughton captain of the Bulldogs one day.
I think we got a pretty good one at the moment, but
yeah, it's a very good point.
Yeah, we'll leave Bont to be in charge. He's obviously awesome, but I've been in leadership group the last couple of years, and slowly learning that side of my game.
Good. What's it like getting your name called to the Doggies draft night, draft day?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I remember we call it obviously Levers over in WA. I was at Levers down in Dunsborough on the Wednesday. Mum drove down, picked me up, fly straight to Sydney. Name called out on the Friday. Mum and Dad thought it was a good idea to spend the weekend in Sydney, and not realising that the club would want me to, come Monday be in Melbourne. So said goodbye to mum and dad in Sydney on Saturday. Threw a house party Saturday night back in Perth with all my mates as one last hurrah. And family friend dropped me at the airport, and then I was in Mitch Wallace's spare room come Sunday night.
Wow.
So, and then, my 18th birthday was the following Wednesday. So, big sort of 2 weeks, but pretty awesome though.
Bloody oath. Who, you remember who called you first from the club when that was all happening? Or I'm assuming Bevo was probably there, wasn't he?
Yeah, Bevo and a few of the staff were there. I actually left my phone on the table when we got called up to stage, and obviously then we had to do whatever media stuff backstage. So my phone was left out there for about an hour and a half, and by the time I got back to it, I think
blown up.
Everyone had called me and was wondering what I was doing because I wasn't getting back to anyone.
You picked 9. I remember Oscar having a sook about that one day because they went after he was sooking it up saying, why is Knott's going above me? But top 10 draft pick, you come to the footy club, you walk into a successful side, right? Like this
2 years post grand final.
Yeah.
I mean,
premiership players all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, at those times, more of, Dale Morris, Fletcher Roberts, Marcus Adams was here at the time. I mean, obviously Dale Morris was huge in my first year as a defender. Just sort of took me under his wing. His craft is unbelievable. So I learned a lot through him, and just sort of the way to train, the way to lift weights in the gym. Obviously, he's huge as well. So those types of things was huge in your first year. But it is. I remember Bonty in my first session cleaning me up and sit me on my ass. A few welcome to the AFL moments when you first rock up. But once you settle in, it's good.
There's so many. Like looking from the outside, everyone loves the Bont. Like even if you're not a fan of the Bulldogs, everyone just respects the shit out of him. What's it like having him on your team?
He's a freak, really. He's football stuff, but I think we're probably a close mate of mine now. But what we love about him is his off-field stuff. So generous and giving with his time, or he's someone that will put his hand in his own pocket to fund, functions and events for us players and staff, and always willing to have, people over and family over and invite partners and friends and all sort of things. He's very welcoming in that sense. So, it was his football stuff can speak for itself, but him as a person is probably more special.
What's something we don't know about Marcus Bontempelli?
He's getting a few greys now.
Is he?
Yeah. He's starting to grow his hair out a bit, so you might notice it now. But he used to tidy the sides up, but he's letting it grow. So I think the greys are coming out.
I like that. Yeah. He's not showing that he's getting old, but he is getting old and he's getting greys. That's good to hear. Do you remember your first game?
Yeah, it was bad.
Not ideal.
Nah, real bad.
GWS?
Yeah, Canberra, 83 points, I think. Lost. Baptism of Fire, Jonathan Patton, Jeremy Cameron.
Right.
I thought I did as much as I could in an 83-point loss. I tried real hard.
So you play as a backman in your first game and first year?
Yeah, whole first year, yeah.
So do you think you learnt stuff at AFL level? I know you play as a junior as a backman, but now as a forward, do you look back in your time as a backman in the AFL and think, geez, I was able to learn a lot, like Patton and Cameron, and you would have played on other superstars?
Yeah, I mean, I was lucky enough to play in a lot of, the key forwards of, Revolt and Hawkins a little bit, Franklin a little bit, like all in my first year. So, I mean, I love competing, so I always love to play against the best players. So, but yeah, I mean, you learn so much, I guess, just how they sometimes make you look silly or take a mark on you. You sort of learn from those things of, what you could do better the next time to stop it.
You played 18 games in your first year, finished fourth in the best and fairest. Not a bad first year. It's not a real question now.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, but to do that as a backman and, I saw where you're playing on the best players. Like it must have been, I don't know, did you feel like it was a whirlwind coming into that year and you go and play a shitload of footy and you're playing with the best players and you have a good year? Like, was that strange to you or did you expect it?
I wouldn't say expected it. I think coming in, I would say I got a touch lucky towards the end of pre-season where Dale Morris and Marcus Adams, they both got injured. So I got to sort of start in the ones back line in pre-season. Otherwise, I probably would have had to go through the twos if those guys were fit. And then, once I sort of got that spot, through lack of injuries and stuff for the club, then I just really wanted to hold on to it. And I feel like I'm a fairly chill bloke and don't stress too much. And but I'm also super competitive, so I just let those things sort of come to the front.
Yeah, it's been good to watch you play. Your family must have been pretty proud to see him play in AFL.
Yeah, pretty stoked.
Yeah.
Dad still thinks he's a Collingwood supporter.
Seen some of your dad's work over at Street X, so talk me through that one. Dad's the superstar Hollywood actor now, or?
Yeah, Dad loves the camera as much as you won't admit it. Very social man, very funny man actually. But it's quite funny, I guess. Sort of those cool experiences you sort of have as an AFL player. Obviously, Dan and the Street X crew wanted to do the Doggies film clip with my old boy in it. It was quite funny filming the clip. Obviously, the other extras and stuff were there, and obviously the script's a father-son script, and they're like, "Oh, geez, that's quite funny. Like, you used to look alike. Like, you're related." Like, yeah, it's like my actual dad. It's my actual dad. Like, they flew him over. So Dad's got the same sort of hair. That's where that comes from.
Right.
But,
so have you copied him, or has he copied you?
Nah, I've definitely copied him. He had it. Yeah, he's had it his whole life, basically. He actually cut it off in my draft year. It used to be like down to like halfway down his back.
Wow, what a man.
And that was all I'd known him of. And we come back from, Peel Thunder training, me and my older brother. And we just basically walked straight past him and we didn't realise. And then,
chopped it off.
Yeah, had chopped it off.
Didn't tell you.
Didn't tell any of us. But yeah, he must have regrets because it's back now.
So have you got opportunity to grow that thing down the back of your neck? I mean, you're doing Rockingham proud, mate.
Yeah.
This is Rockingham 101.
Yeah.
The beautiful, long, luscious locks. How long can it go?
Nah, I reckon this stays about this length. I don't like it. My hair's quite thick, so more goes out than long. So we'll just keep it somewhat tidy.
We were prepping for this, just seeing some videos fighting around, and I pissed myself laughing. I'm not sure how you felt, but James Sicily, again, a good friend of BackChat, just a really grumpy operator out in the field by the looks of things. You blokes having a bit of a scrap, which we can talk about that, actually, you and I, but you and Sis are getting into it a little bit, and then he took your headband off, and you weren't happy about it, and he got a fine, so I can't imagine he was happy about it.
Yeah, I wasn't mad about the headband. It was more just grabbed a handful of hair. Yeah, got the hair on the way through, which it's never nice getting your hair pulled. So that was the retaliation.
One of the funny bits of that clip is like your Guernsey's like completely ripped, and there's just like one string of like the shoulder bit, and you like put the shoulder like back on just to leave like one little string.
So you say retaliation. I remember playing on you for the first time, young player, up and coming, way too strong for me, way too athletic for me, too good for me to be playing on you. And so I thought to myself, how am I going to meet this young man? And so I just started bashing you off the ball, basically, and verbally abusing you in I think a respectful way. But I was just doing anything I could to not have to have a contest with you. And you handled it pretty well until the last quarter, and it felt like a build up for you. I think you're in maybe your second year.
Yeah, second.
And we watched that just before. I think it's fair to say I got you. I mean, you got me, but I got you. And
mentally got me by then.
I felt bad. I did. I was laughing when you just a little ridiculous, and we don't want to encourage that for anyone out there watching. But I might have got you a little bit.
Yeah, I remember you just hugging me all day, wrestling. At that stage, obviously the older key
battler.
Yeah, key backs were. And I like to think I'm too fast and too quick and that, but try to zap all my energy by making me wrestle all day. And I think at that stage I was the only key forward for us down there. So a lot of time sort of went into me. It's lucky now that we got Mara and Dar, so they can help. But you got me, and I had enough and gave you one into the ribs.
I appreciate it.
You did drop.
Oh, I went down way too easily, and I felt bad for it. But you
said that would be a week.
Did I?
Yeah, you're like, I got you. That would be a week.
And what was it?
Oh, it was $2,000 or fine or something.
Was it not a week?
Nah.
I'm glad with that because
I think it was just a fine.
I may be many things, not good at football and lots of other things, but I don't think I'm a flopper. You got to be pretty good.
It wasn't really even disguised as like a jumper hit. It was just a wind up. And
he'd had enough of my
it was on purpose.
Was that your first little sanction from the AFL?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And we can have a laugh about it now, but do those sorts of things, and don't let me tell me I taught you anything, but does that sort of stuff as a young player, and you're getting ravaged by someone clearly not good enough to play on you, do you start learning how to deal with that better? Because clearly you don't want to react like that, right?
Yeah,
that's a lesson you learn.
The worst thing is probably obviously could have missed the game as a result of that. So, yeah, I think it's just as you sort of mature, learn that what different type of defenders might want to do, whether they can go with you in the air, or if they're going to be stronger, they might want to wrestle you the whole day. So just trying to learn those things and try not to put yourself in those situations, keep moving around so that, guys like yourself might not be able to wrestle all day and sort of zap your energy. So, a whole lot of learning in that first year. Obviously never played a lot forward, and then, you're the number one key forward for the club that year. It's pretty tough.
One of your big strengths, playing on now, watching your plays, how you fly off your marks, just crazy, to be honest, some of the stuff that you do, hitting packs and backing yourself. Have you always had that? Is that something that's been a part of your footy?
Yeah, I think ever since lunchtime at school.
yeah.
King of the pack.
It looks like that.
Yeah, just boys get in front. Sit on there. I don't know. It's just... strength that I've always probably sort of had since junior footy and all the way back then. And I love marking the footy. If there's any sort of contest in the air that I think that I can get to, I'll try to get to. That's probably why sometimes I come in pretty hot, because I might have come from a fair distance back. But it's just something that I love doing, and it's a strength of mine. So I want to bring in every game.
Also nice hearing him say king of the pack, which is what the game's officially called.
Right.
None of this. What do you guys call
it? Up.
Marks up makes no
Jack
sense.
of the pack. That's king.
Yeah, that's certainly not Jack of the pack.
Nah.
No.
Jack.
I can cop markers up, but not Jack of the pack.
There you go.
Okay. I'm glad you did clarify that.
King of the pack.
So you mentioned that not a lot of key forwards at the time when you start playing forward, but now it feels like, the Lobster's playing in the back line now. So, which I'm loving his work, got to be honest. Really like him as a backman. But now you got Jamara, you got Darcy, yourself. You've had Brucey over the time. Like you've now sort of grown this pack of key position players and a lot of forwards. Must be good playing with those sorts of boys.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a vast difference from my first couple of years of the club, where we were sort of undermanned in key positions both ends. Now we're stocked up heavily, but. Yeah, our forward line is super young, super exciting. I mean, Jamara and Das are freaks of talent in their own rights. Das is crazy tall and insanely long arms. So him at his highest point is pretty dangerous. And, just Mara's raw ability and, freak of sort of athleticism is crazy as well. And, I think I'm the oldest down there actually at the age of 24. Lath and Van, actually Lath a touch older, he's maybe 25, but still all of us are 25 or are under in our whole forward line, which is Cody, Riley West, Riley Garcia, Lockie McNeil, Lath and Van, we're all 24 or younger.
So how does Matty Spanger go looking after you boys? Good mates with Spain. I don't ask him so much about footy, but you got your blokes under control? Or?
Yeah, he does. I think it's a bit harder with the smaller forwards. We got a few lippy lads down there, but Spain's been awesome. He's been super helpful for not only myself, but especially Jamara and Das. He's always willing to get under the marking bag or stay out after training or pre-training, help us with anything. So
out there just said he's under the marking bag, he's running around with a big pack on his back.
Yeah, he'll strap the specky bag on and let you have 100 jumps at it and get cleaned up. He doesn't care. So have someone like that in your corner is awesome.
What about Libba? Someone that, I'm a West Coast fan, but Libba always one of my favourite players to watch, and it just seems like a bit of an enigma as well. What's he like to be around?
Yeah, awesome. He's probably changed a fair bit in my 7 years at the club. He's toned down a little bit now, He's an awesome father to Oscar, his young boy, which he loves dearly. And but I think the best thing about Libba is, everyone sees the tattoos and the videos online and the game in Vietnam and whatever else. But
Which looked incredible.
Still, it's pretty good effort. But I think what we love, he's always opens his house up to draftees. He always has the young boys over for dinner. You move in house, he's the first one there to help you. He's always, taking, blokes out for lunch and catching up with things, making sure guys are going well off field and their families well, and, remembers everyone's partners' names, everyone's parents' names. So that side of him is probably something that people don't really realise, of how caring and how thoughtful he is, which is, and then obviously, his wittiness and his funny side is a given.
It's very straight, he's a very
dry humour.
Did he instigate the speed dealers at the Brownlow? Was he the one that originally came in wearing them and was on every time the camera went to him?
No,
he was wearing
that was actually my housemate. He works up in the mines out of Karratha, and obviously didn't have a partner at the time, so invited my housemate to the Brownlow, and he goes, I've got a special gift for us. So he had the Bollets Speedy D's from up at the work site that we used, and then as the night carried on, we sort of passed it around.
Who won it that night? Who won the Brownlow that night? I saw. Because
it was going to Bont a lot. So every time the camera went to the Bulldogs table, someone else was wearing them. It was hilarious. I can't remember.
I actually don't know. It might have been Cripper, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm not sure.
I saw a picture of him with them on. Maybe I don't know. They were getting handed
Got around.
We just sort of missed on the forward line setup. Just wondering how that goes from a chemistry point of view. You're all different players, all tall, but that's about you've got in common really. Sam looks like a different player to Jamar, and you a different player to those two as well. So how do you go with the balance between who's the guy, getting your patterns right? Has that been something you've been working on together?
Yeah, obviously a bit. Obviously, it takes time.
Yeah.
Obviously, this year's been the longest sort of with all three of us have been out there together, which is nice to. You sort of just pick up little things the more you play with each other. But I think the biggest thing for us is just keep changing, whether one of us is high, one of us is deep. Just keep changing those things. So just give different looks to the opposition defenders and sort of test them out that way. With the three of us out there, any given game, someone can it can be their day, and the rest of us are super supportive and get around it and have a lot of fun if, just one bloke's kicking bags. Something
that's really common, or certainly over in Western Australian media, is put Naughton down back. Can we just kill that forever and say that you're going to be a forward for as long as we know you? I've played on you, and I'm very big on. I don't think we should be wasting Aaron Naughton down back, because as much as we love Backman, Dan, and I love him more than anyone, I think you're a forward. But it is something that gets rolled out a lot, isn't it? Do you hear that? Does that actually get discussed? You played a little bit down there from time to time.
It's finally probably. You might have just brought it back up, so thank you.
Well, you've got a chance to kill it.
Yeah, I reckon in my first probably 5 years at the footy club, all I copped in every sort of interview was, are you going to go play down back again? And are you going to come home? That was the standard probably for 5 years.
Right, so you've sort of become back home.
Yeah, that's
a big deal. 2032.
Yeah, so that
70
one's
years
done.
old when you do come back home.
And then I reckon going down back's done. I'm happy to go down to help out the boys and the games and then the quarters, but
good answer.
I like kicking goals. So
good. So a lot of forwards, great best forward I've ever played with and against, Josh Kennedy, right at West Coast. Once he got past halfway, it was like he morphed into this body that just lost control as a footballer. Didn't understand what was happening in the game, couldn't kick, couldn't mark, lost it. It must be good having a forward in the side that knows what they're doing, or have you forgotten what to do back there yet?
Nah, I've still got it. Still got it a little bit. Not as good as Jonesy and Lobby at the moment, but I still like to think I can have an impact if I was needed down there.
Jeez, I would have loved a forward that could come back. Like Jack Darling couldn't do it. Just completely, you see the haze come over the eyes. What am I doing down here? Josh Kennedy, Mark LaFra, no idea. So the boys must love having you in the side. Talk to us about 2021, big season for the footy club, make a grand final. What was that like as a whole for you as an experience?
Yeah, I mean, awesome. I guess the opportunity to play in a grand final obviously didn't go the way we wanted, but yeah, it's kind of cool that it was in Perth as well. I remember that week leading in, because obviously the borders were shut, that, you know, no one could sort of from over east have their family there. So I remember just buying all the boys tickets and just basically, I reckon I had half of Rockingham up there. My best mate's dad drove a bus up.
Bullshit.
That they did all up, and had about 15 mates in like astronaut costumes with mullet wigs that were up on the 4th tier.
Great.
So those sort of things was awesome. Obviously, you know, COVID the year before, and COVID still having an impact that year that didn't really get to play in front of family and friends much at all over those 2 years, and you know, lucky enough to play in a grand final there, which was cool, obviously beside the result. But I mean, that final series was a whole heap of fun. Those are probably the memories that you look back on post footy, is those finals wins, which is cool.
Yeah, bloody oath. Do you feel like you learnt a fair bit as a group that year? It was different, clearly, like, you know, the COVID protocols and all of that stuff. But you know, that game in particular, the grand final, does that stick with the group and guys that played in that, and you want to get back there and you want that next opportunity at the big dance? Yeah,
obviously it sticks with you a bit. I guess you can learn a little bit from it. But then again, like, it's, what is it now, 3-4 years on, the team's a lot different. There's a lot of different personnel in there. I mean, our forward line is completely different. I reckon it's only maybe me and Cody from that day. Same as our back line. I don't know, like, there's so much that changes, but definitely you want to get back there and have the opportunity to do it again, and obviously hopefully win one day. But yeah, I guess that's the motivation that you have, you know, to sort of not let it happen again if you do get the chance there again.
Did they give you a parade that day? So it was
a bit different. Like, there was nothing. Yeah. Like, we were still sort of in quarantine, hotel quarantine.
Where were you boys?
We were at Crown Plaza across Langley Park.
Yes.
So still weird. Like, we had a 50 by 50 fenced off area at Langley Park that we were allowed to go use, and just things like that. That was, it's a fair bit different prep leading into a grand final, and no parade and no of the other stuff. And didn't probably get to experience the whole sort of week leading into it, because it was a bit different.
And all you boys in the same nightclub after the game, didn't they? That's the strangest thing in the entire thing. You boys flying all across the country, hubs, COVID. But my biggest thing is, like, you can't have the winning and losing teams with granny in the same place.
Yeah, that was until the Wednesday post.
Okay.
Yeah. That was about the only joint in Perth open on a Wednesday. So, obviously the Winnie and Will drown in their sorrows. They were, happy with the win, and fair enough. So, it was both ended up at the same joint.
We've got to get towards the end. We've got Dr. Ray coming in, but talk to us about the footy club. Clearly this season's, everything's on the line right now. We're 2 rounds out from the end. At the moment, you boys have found your way into some good form, albeit you won't be happy with last weekend, but I don't really want your opinion on that sort of stuff. But the group, like you said, it's a different one to 3 years ago. How do you look at this group, young group, aspirations?
Yeah, I think our footy probably the last 6 weeks shows that our best is good enough and probably deserves to be there. Obviously, we still got to finish strong to have the chance to do it. And group-wise, I think there's so much energy within this group. We're still fairly young, but also kind of experienced now. There's enough sort of senior guys and blokes that have played enough footy to drive the standards and drive the culture, with having that youth to sort of, have that jovial side and that spark and funness. But then I think the biggest thing is obviously our redevelopment that's just happened. It's a fair bit different to when I first walked in. It was only 7 years ago, and I mean, the facility's awesome now. So there is no excuses. Everything's here. We've got everything now. And I think that's sort of, it's been a breath of fresh air for us. Now with the ground getting redone and the whole new facility has been awesome.
Before I finish up, Bevo, didn't ask about Bevo and what impact he's had on your career. What's he been like as a coach?
Yeah, well, he's the one that put me forward, so I can thank him. But no, he's been awesome. I think with Bevo is, he's always sort of backs his players in over anything else. He'll always be on our side, and against media or whatever else, he always back his boys in, which is super. But I guess personally, I think he's funny. We got a lot of sort of common interests with off-field stuff, with surfing and the outdoors. But he takes a genuine interest in your life outside of footy, which is good, and has some funny jokes and can be witty and a bit out there at times. But I think that's every head coach.
I'd love to hear Bevo tell a joke. I think I'd be just jarring for the image I have of him.
Is he funny?
He does have some funny jokes, yeah. He's been good this year, actually. When he's in a good mood because he cracks some jokes in the meetings.
Right. So what's he like pre-game? Because he would have learned a bit over different coaches he coached under. So what's he? Is he a motivator? Is he a music player? Is he rocking up in costume? Is he telling stories? What's he do pre-game? Get the boys up.
Definitely a motivator. Sort of has a different sort of theme each week. Some land really well, some are a bit abstract, and you're like, where do you get this one from? But no, it's good. He likes to keep it fresh, each sort of week, and it'll sort of have, somewhat of a theme attached to it. And he's a great motivational speaker. So
been on the back end of any sprays?
No, I've been pretty lucky, to be
Is that
honest.
right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't actually caught. I don't know if it's or I just don't notice it. I don't know.
It's the blues.
Yeah, I haven't copped any real bad ones to report about.
Got any social media?
Yeah, we do. We've got a couple last minute things.
So not social media, social media. Let's finish this off. Yeah, I thought you liked that much.
This is from Matt McCann. Me versus you in the cage at the KCC Old Boys game. You down?
Yeah, I know it is. Yeah, old school mate. He's about 5'5", so I reckon I've got him. Yeah.
This is from Hit or Miss. Who has the best Bay 13, MCG or Rocco?
I have to go MCG. They knocked the Rockingham one down a few years ago, actually.
Is that right?
Yeah, but that was pretty loose up there.
Yeah, the Canberra, the Rockingham Rams will be going nicely. Is that it for
that's it. Oh, and how do you like your eggs? That's always from the Eggman.
Scrambled, probably.
Scrambled, long and length.
Yeah.
Good. Mate, been great watching you play. Big fan of your footy, and we're hoping to go to a little bit bigger and better this year come finals time.
No worries. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for joining us, mate. Big thanks to our sponsors of the podcast, BackChat powered by Paywise. Thanks to TABtouch, to Whippersnapper, Whisky, to ID Athletic, Mamba Digital, Shelter Brewing Co, Leadable Precinct, and Camera Electronic. We might need a sponsor shirt like that one day.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Find everything you can get at backchatstudios.com.au. Thanks, mate.
Thank you.